can't believe it, can you? A Gump report is right here. I just finished filming my Worlds Collide review. And I said I was going to talk about this because I did see what was going on. Yes, when I finished my review, and as I said in my Worlds Collide, I couldn't sleep. I was up. I was watching JD. I was watching Just Alex. They both found out about the scrum that happened right after All Out, and what I did see it. But you guys tell me below. Didn't CM Punk sound weird? Like his voice was really deep like this. Now I think it might have been the audio. The audio was off for him. So unless he's got a really ranty, messed up throat, he sounded off. But from what I understand, and this is what I learned, when that scrum happened, there was a question asked before the cameras came on and the audio came on to CM Punk, because when CM Punk sat down, supposedly, they weren't filming anything yet. They weren't recording any audio. And one of the press there asked him, what does he think about Scott Colt? And that is Colt Cabana. And once the audio and video came on, he just laid into that shit. He was not happy about what happened with Colt Cabana. And worse yet, he was not happy because someone opened a damn mouth in the media and pretty much asked him a question about Colt instead of about All Out. He pretty much laid into his ass and pretty much said a lot of stuff. I'm not going to repeat it because it's not necessary. Everybody else has already said it. But I will say at least a couple of things that he said, particularly about Colt Cabana's account being connected to his mother. I don't know what made him do that. That was dumb. That is not what you do. You don't connect your account with a relative's account next to them maybe taking out too much. If your account gets damaged or gets basically any type of fraud, they're going to feel it just like you will. You don't do that. That's stupid. He should have separated those damn accounts. But counting on, and this is where it gets interesting. Guys, many people wonder if this is a work or shoot. Honestly, it's not the point. If this entire information that CM Punk spewed out of vitriol, including not only talking about Colt Cabana, he talked about Hangman Page going in for himself, and talked about the VPs, which is pretty much Nick, Matt, and Kenny, and basically throwing their asses under the bus, and to a certain extent the main roster, because he got sick and tired of dealing with assholes, and most of the people on the roster who's not really that great. He did put over Moxley. He showed respect to Moxley. He did. But let's be honest here. Let's say this is all a shoot. It looks bad for Tony Khan because pretty much we've already heard the rumors about how he's not controlling the roster. How he only just started, and that's if it's weekly, meetings between the staff in the back, the executives, and the wrestlers them damn selves. There's been no meetings until a couple of weeks ago when they were talking about there being a lot of attitude, particularly what happened with Eddie Kingston, who just came back from suspension. So if Tony has not been doing due diligence and not been setting up any meetings, not making sure that the roster is stable, that his executives are stable, and the people who are doing production is doing their job right, we've been wondering, has everything been okay? When you see All Out, you think, well, maybe it's a little scatterbrained a little bit, and I did not agree with everything, but still, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. It was a good one, but there were mistakes in it, but it was good. But now seeing this makes it look worse now, and that's if it's real. If it's real. If this is a work, it still doesn't look good. This is what let me explain. When you see how there's so much controversy in pro wrestling right now, there is controversy, guys. Velveteen Dream just tried to say, I'm coming back, but then just got arrested. And EC3 on one of the websites I did see, I think it was Ringside News, that EC3 was present when he started trying to do something. I don't remember exactly, but filming himself, or at least taking photos. Not about saying that it was for girls, just doing something. And now he's been arrested for, I don't remember what it is. I think DWI or something. I don't remember what the arrest is for. But now he's arrested. And he wanted to come back to WWE because he hadn't been wrestling. And along with that, Jimmy Uso messing up nearly a year and a half ago. And because he messed up, there was no way the Usos were going to go to Europe. They can't. They can't leave the country because both of them have too many charges on them and they are barred from leaving the country because of drinking problems. And that's just some of what's been going on in the last year, along with several deaths. We've had some controversy currently in wrestling. And now hearing, and I've said this so many times for so many years, last 3 years, I said the women's division's not right. And I said that Tony's been hiring too many people and they need to consolidate what they're doing. When it came to Dynamite and Rampage, they need to reorientate Rampage. And instead of having Elevation and Dark, they need to unite Elevation and Dark, and that was for ROH, and make one show that would be dark and spotlight it on both Dynamite and Rampage. Then he bought ROH, where there's so much confusion on why isn't ROH active. You've been throwing the tag titles on FTR. And now they're current tag champions. You got Samoa Joe as the TV champion. You got Chloe Castagnoli as the main champion. And the pure champion is Wheeler Yuta. And they periodically do matches on Dynamite or Rampage. Why not ROH? What is going on? Is ROH fully owned by Tony Khan? Or is there some type of problem where either he doesn't have full ownership of it, or the deal that the original owner of ROH through Infinity has not expired yet, even though Tony owned it, he's got to wait until that expiration date happened, or, which is very stupid, he wants to try and get a network for ROH where it's stupid that he should throw it on YouTube, close down Dark, close down Elevation until he gets it, then take it off there and then put it on main TV. It's a mess. And the kicker of all this is that with all that, now we see this from Tony, who's sitting right next to a CM Punk who pretty much just cursed the fuck out of Scott Colt Cabana, belittles a pretty much, sorry, I haven't taken my allergy medicine yet, a Hangman Page, chews out the VPs of Matt, Nick, and Kenny Omega, telling them they're assholes. Yeah, they're trying to help their friend Colt, but what about me? I didn't start this. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. This is what he said. I didn't start this. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't care where he is and what he's working. But if you're the one who's causing this controversy, trying to let him keep his damn job when he should have gotten fired, which he has now been released. Colt is no longer part of AEW. He's been released. But because of the controversy, because of this, it's your fucking fault. I blame your asses for it. You're petty. By just saying that next to damn Tony, who is trying to justify Colt being... Understand, during this entire scrum, Tony didn't tell him, hey, you gotta stop. No. He tried to justify firing or releasing a Colt Cabana. And pretty much, CM Punk is trying to tell him, no. Don't try and justify it. Your VP is supposed to do the damn job. Now, mind you, he is kind of right. Tony's here. Kenny, Matt, and Nick are here. If he appoints them to do stuff like that, it is their job. But when it comes down to it doesn't work, Tony's got to take responsibility. But the point here is not that Tony's trying to take responsibility and CM Punk is honestly, truthfully, saying, hey, they're the ones who screwed up, not you. Don't apologize. The point is, this is too much. If this is a shoot, he went too fucking far and he embarrassed the company by pouring all that rage out when this was about the entire pay-per-view. He is the current champion and he went all ham on burying a wrestler that's not there anymore that he has an issue with. And he did state this, and I did hear him. He said when he was there, he tried to rectify. I'm not saying that it's truthful or not. I'm not saying that he's in the right or not. I'm just telling you what he said. Just in case anybody asks or say, dude, you know he tried to rectify this. I did hear him say he tried to talk to him privately, didn't work. He said tried to come up with some type of agreement. He didn't want to do it. He said, can we do something? And Colt didn't want to do nothing with it. Now, I know he said those things. What I'm saying is, it's not the point. He has been made their champion. And as their champion, he's representing the entire company, the tag division, the women's division, pretty much the TNT champion division, the All-Atlantic division, and his own damn position. And he's the face of it like a Ric Flair. Whether you like Rick or not, he had a certain attitude. And if this was real, I'm not saying it is, if it's real, he went too fucking far, and Tony should basically had said, stop it. And if he didn't want to listen, he would have called security, or he would have stopped the scrum right there and said, we need to end this. That is what Tony should have did, but he did not. He let him talk for nearly 30 minutes, guys. Nearly 30 minutes, I think 26 to 29 minutes. He talked from when they started the scrum until when it came to Swerve in Our Glory, and then I think it was Tony Storm after that, and then Chris Jericho. I didn't watch the rest because it was getting late, and I wanted to see what else everybody said. But the point is, he went too far with it. If this was a shoot, he fucked up AEW. He made an embarrassment. It's not Colt who did this. Colt may have been brought up, yes. But we are talking about a current champion who should not put his own personal feelings into it and says, and should have just said simply, no comment. And if he says, I don't want to talk about it, no comment, can we move on? And then they would have moved on. But by him acting like this, made it worse for AEW. Now, let's go to the other side. What happened if this is a shoot? Not a shoot, but a work. Where he's now turning heel, where actually I think would be wise at this point. If they're using, like, when it came to Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy, they made that into a real storyline. It happens. Real stories happen. Look at Impact Wrestling, TNA. We had a story between Karen Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, and a Kurt Angle. Kurt basically divorcing Karen when she used to be called Karen Angle. She marries Jeff, and then they had an actual storyline going there. Of course, all three of them had no problem with it because by that time they had worked it out. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If this is a work with a lot of aspect of real reality, did he go too far? Yes. He went very far with it. Now, will that cause a lot of rumors? Yes, and maybe that's what they wanted. That's the reason why a Tony did not go there. But the question is going to be this. If he is turning heel, if MJF is going to work with the Hathaway faction, and this is a big if this is still a real work, and they fired Colt Cabana on purpose to make it look real, but it's not. And they bring Colt back saying, look, we're going to make it look real like we fired you, but we're going to bring you back. Not saying this is true. This will be the biggest work that's ever been seen. Colt gets hired back. And if Colt and pretty much Philip, let's say that Scott and Phil actually do not have animosity to each other. Not at this point. But they decided because we had it, let's make it into a real story. This will be one of the biggest stories we've ever seen, where it has to culminate next year in a match between Colt Cabana and CM Punk. It doesn't matter if it's for a title or not. It's just that they build up into it. But that's if this is involving it. This is a possibility. It's a mix of both a real work, a partial work, and a real shoot. We don't know. And next to hearing the rumors from Shaw Ross Sapp that the VPs were ready to walk out with at least another 7 people. Understand, The way this looks like it's a possible real shoot is because the reports from Sean Ross Sapp of, Fightful.com, he made it Wrestling Inc., I think WrestlingInc.com. He made it very clear that the vice presidents were pissed and they were ready to walk the fuck out, along with 7 other people. If this is true, that they were ready to walk out, this is incredibly bad for AEW. They got no longer a Vince and Kenny McMahon running the company of WWE. You have Triple H running the creative aspect of it now. And I'm not saying that, like I said, we got 12 months to see if this company really becomes something different. I don't care what JD says, Solomon says, just Alex. They say, just give it time, just give it time. That's what we got with AEW. And look how it is. I go by what I can see. Well, when it comes down to it, is there changes? Yes. But the point is, will there be enough changes to really look different and make it mean something going forward? Quick changes we've gone through with Vince, with Steph. Does not mean a damn thing. We need long-term changes. So we still got a year to go. But it's not Vince who's doing the changes this time. We went through it in 2010, 2011 to 12, 2014. Multiple changes where it looks like things changed, but pretty much did not. Here, it is real change. We don't know how it's going to manifest itself. And right now, Tony Khan has a new invigorated fan base saying, oh, we got something new with Triple H now, what we've been wanting for years. He's now creatively running the talent and the creative aspects of the show. He may not be running the company, but he's running the talent and he's running the storylines. So now he's in trouble. Even if the numbers don't increase yet, he's in trouble. So if this is real, this is going to make Tony's company look bad. You know what it reminds me of? I know someone's going to bring it up. I don't know if I'm the first one. I'm sure someone, maybe Jim Cornette brought it up. Maybe when it comes to Russo, he probably brought it up. Maybe Ric Flair's probably brought it up. Or anyone else. WCW, anyone? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. This looks shades of WCW near halfway into their run where they beat WWF and then they started having that sharp decline afterward. This is where it begins to the end if it's like a WCW rise and fall. And I'm not saying it is, but it looks like it. So Tony, if this is real, he better get his shit straight. Because if he doesn't, he'll end up with Ted Turner, another billionaire. Understand, Vince was a billionaire. Ted's a billionaire. They both threw millions of dollars into the show. And who won? Vince, Teddy. We now have Tony, and in this situation, it's no longer Vince. It's Triple H, Nick Khan, and Stephanie McMahon. It's 3 against 1 instead of 1-on-1. And the question is going to be, how is this going to orientate? If this ends up like a WCW, people are going to say, I knew it. I knew it was nothing but a flash in the pan. It's not the point of being a flash in the pan. It's the point that we needed more diversity inside pro wrestling. And I'm not talking about black people winning damn championships. We need more pro wrestling that is an alternative to each other. You can say a lot about the NWA. That is an old company that now has been taken over by an old man and the Bill Patrick Corgan. But at least you know what you got there. With Tony, we don't know yet. With Stephanie, Nick, and Triple H, we don't know yet. We got a year to wait before we really get a good idea. And then within this year, we're going to see what's going to happen with Tony Khan. I'm just saying, if this makes any sense, give me a like, give me a comment, just tell me. And now I got to upload the first video, and then I'll upload this one tomorrow. Peace.